Ladies and gentlemen, life is a journey full of unpredictable twists and turns. It is not the circumstances or challenges that define us, but our response to them. The ability to remain calm, focused, and poised amidst the storms of life is a powerful skill, a skill that, once mastered, can transform not only your experience of life, but also your relationships, your career, and your personal growth. In a world that is increasingly fast-paced and filled with distractions, the ability to stay calm is no longer just a luxury, it is a necessity. When we are calm, we tap into a source of clarity and wisdom that allows us to make decisions with precision. When we are calm, we become the calm in the storm for others. And when we are calm, we show those around us that we have the strength to handle whatever life throws our way. But here's the truth. This ability to stay calm in any situation is not something that comes naturally to everyone. It must be cultivated. It requires a mindset shift, a new way of thinking, and a practice of self-discipline. This is where true power lies, not in reacting to the world around us, but in controlling how we respond to it. If you want someone to truly be a part of your life, to trust and rely on you, they must see in you a calm, steady force. They must witness your ability to navigate the difficult moments of life with grace, not to become overwhelmed by them. They must know that in times of turmoil, you are a person they can turn to for support, strength, and stability. Today, I challenge you to train your mind to stay calm, not only for your own peace of mind, but also to demonstrate to others that you are someone worth having in their lives. A person who can stay calm in the face of adversity will never be without influence, love, or opportunity. Life is a series of events, both planned and unplanned, and it's not the events themselves that shape our lives, but how we respond to them. The one thing you can control in any situation is your response, and that's where your true power lies. It's easy to think that external circumstances define the course of our lives, but in reality, it is our reactions to these circumstances that determine our fate. When you learn to master your response, you tap into an immense power that can transform not just your own life, but the lives of everyone around you. Imagine for a moment being in a stressful situation, a heated argument, a difficult decision at work, or a personal crisis. In these moments, emotions run high, and the instinct is often to react immediately, to let the tension dictate your actions. But what if in these moments you could pause? What if you could take a breath, slow down your thoughts, and choose a response that aligns with your highest values and goals, rather than simply reacting out of emotion? The truth is, your response is what defines your experience in any given moment. Many people believe that their emotions control them, that they are at the mercy of the circumstances they face. But the reality is that emotions are simply signals, not mandates. They tell us something about our environment, our thoughts, or our beliefs, but they do not have to dictate our actions. When you train your mind to stay calm, you learn to observe your emotions, acknowledge them, and then choose how to respond. This shift in perspective is incredibly empowering. Instead of being a victim of your emotions, you become the master of them. The ability to control your response is not about suppressing or ignoring your feelings. It's about acknowledging your emotions without letting them dictate your behavior. It's about giving yourself space to process, reflect, and then act with intention. This ability comes from a deep understanding that while you cannot control the actions or behaviors of others, you have full control over how you react. This is where the power of staying calm lies. When faced with challenges or stressful situations, it's easy to fall into the trap of reacting impulsively, to let your emotions take over and make decisions for you. But this reactionary mindset often leads to regret, as our emotions may not always lead us to make the best choices. In moments of stress, clarity is clouded, and decisions made in haste are often clouded by fear, anger, or anxiety. These decisions may not reflect our true desires or values, and once the dust settles, we may find ourselves questioning the choices we made in the heat of the moment. On the other hand, when you respond from a place of calmness, you can think more clearly. You can evaluate the situation from multiple angles, weighing the options with a clear mind. You allow yourself the space to choose a response that aligns with your goals rather than reacting out of fear or impulse. This creates better outcomes, not just in terms of the situation at hand, but in the long-term trajectory of your life. Training your mind to stay calm requires self-awareness and practice. It is about developing the ability to observe your thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. It's about creating a gap between stimulus and response, where you can pause, reflect, and then choose the best course of action. This ability is not something that comes easily. It requires consistent effort, mindfulness, and discipline. But the rewards are immense. When you learn to stay calm in any situation, you begin to experience life in a different way. The weight of stress and pressure no longer feels like something that is constantly bearing down on you. Instead, you begin to approach life's challenges with confidence, knowing that no matter what comes your way, you have the ability to choose your response. This confidence becomes a foundation upon which you can build success, happiness, and inner peace. Moreover, your ability to remain calm in the face of adversity also impacts those around you. People are drawn to calmness, especially in times of crisis. In moments of tension or difficulty, your calm presence will provide reassurance to others. Your ability to stay composed gives them the freedom to do the same. You become a beacon of stability in a world that is often chaotic. Your response, rather than being a reaction to the circumstances, becomes a source of strength and clarity for those who may be struggling with their own emotions. The power of your response, then, is not just about the impact it has on your own life, but the influence it has on others. By training your mind to stay calm, you become a force for positive change, not only in your own world, but in the world around you. Your calmness becomes contagious, creating a ripple effect that inspires others to respond with the same level of composure and wisdom. In every situation, you have the power to choose how to respond. The more you practice this ability, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you will find that you can face even the most stressful of situations with ease and clarity. You will no longer be a slave to your emotions or the chaos of the world around you. Instead, you will become the calm, steady presence that others seek in times of uncertainty, and that is a power that no circumstance can ever take away from you. Inner peace is not a mere idea or ideal. It is a state of being that, once cultivated, transforms every aspect of life. In a world that is constantly moving, always demanding attention, and often full of external chaos, true peace can feel elusive. However, this peace is not found in the circumstances or the external world. It comes from within. Cultivating inner peace is a practice, a deliberate effort to quiet the mind, stabilize the emotions, and connect to a deeper sense of self. When you create a foundation of inner peace, you begin to realize that no matter what happens on the outside, you have the ability to remain calm and composed. True inner peace comes from understanding who you are at the core, not just through the lens of your job, your roles, or your relationships, but as a person of intrinsic worth and value. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you create a sense of security and certainty within yourself that cannot be shaken by external forces. This kind of peace is unshakable because it is not dependent on external validation or approval. It is grounded in a deep understanding that your worth is inherent, that you are enough just as you are. When you cultivate this kind of inner peace, you stop chasing fleeting sources of comfort and begin to anchor yourself in something far deeper, something that is impervious to the fluctuations of life. In a society that is often driven by comparison, achievement, and external validation, finding inner peace requires tuning out the noise. It means shifting your focus from what you don't have or what others are doing to appreciating who you are right now. The pursuit of peace involves quieting the constant chatter of your mind, which often focuses on past regrets, future anxieties, and the pressures of the present moment. This mental noise can cloud your judgment, create stress, and rob you of the ability to fully embrace the present. But when you learn to quiet your thoughts and focus inward, you begin to tap into a deep well of tranquility. Meditation, mindfulness, and spiritual reflection are powerful tools for cultivating inner peace. These practices allow you to connect with yourself on a deeper level, to clear your mind, and to bring yourself into the present moment. Meditation allows you to observe your thoughts without judgment, to notice when your mind starts to drift into negative patterns and to gently guide it back to stillness. Over time, you train your mind to be more present, less reactive, and more attuned to the calm that lies within. Mindfulness, similarly, is the practice of being fully engaged in the present moment, without judgment or distraction. It's about experiencing life as it unfolds, without dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. When you are mindful, you stop rushing through your experiences and instead savor the present moment. This practice of being present helps you build inner peace by quieting the mental chatter that often keeps you from fully experiencing and appreciating life as it is. It's a reminder that peace is not something you must find, but something you must experience by being fully aware of the now. Spiritual reflection, whether through prayer, contemplation, or self-inquiry, also plays a crucial role in cultivating inner peace. When you reflect on the larger picture of life and your place within it, you begin to understand that you are part of something much greater than yourself. This perspective shifts your focus away from the minor stresses and strains of everyday life and places them in a broader context. You begin to see that the challenges you face are temporary, that they are part of the larger process of growth and transformation. This understanding brings a profound sense of peace because you realize that you are not alone and that there is a higher purpose guiding your life. Another essential aspect of inner peace is the practice of self-compassion. We often extend compassion to others but forget to offer it to ourselves. Inner peace begins when we treat ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that we offer to those we love. This means forgiving ourselves for past mistakes, letting go of self-criticism, and accepting that we are imperfect beings on a journey. When you show yourself compassion, you release the guilt, shame, and self-doubt that often prevent you from experiencing peace. You allow yourself the grace to be human and the freedom to grow without harsh judgment or unrealistic expectations. As you cultivate inner peace, you become less affected by the external world. You develop the ability to navigate life's ups and downs without becoming overwhelmed by them. While challenges and difficulties will always be a part of life, they no longer have the power to steal your peace. Instead, you approach them with a calm and steady heart, knowing that no situation is permanent and that you have the strength and wisdom to handle whatever comes your way. Inner peace also allows you to develop a deeper connection with others. When you are at peace with yourself, you are more able to be present with those around you. You listen more attentively, respond with more understanding, and offer support without becoming overwhelmed by others' emotions or needs. Your inner peace becomes a source of stability and comfort to those you interact with. People are naturally drawn to calmness, and when you embody this peace, you become a source of strength and reassurance for others. Ultimately, cultivating inner peace is an ongoing process. It is not a destination, but a continuous journey of self-awareness, self-care, and spiritual growth. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to look inward. But as you make the effort to create inner peace, you will find that it becomes a steady, unshakable force in your life, one that provides clarity, wisdom, and resilience no matter the external circumstances you face. Emotional discipline is one of the most powerful skills a person can develop. Yet it is often the most difficult to cultivate. In the heat of a moment when emotions are running high and pressure is mounting, it can feel nearly impossible to remain composed. The truth is that emotional discipline is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending that they don't exist. Rather, it is about acknowledging your feelings and giving yourself the space to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. This discipline is a hallmark of emotional maturity, and it's one of the key factors in developing the ability to stay calm in any situation. Emotions are natural and unavoidable. They arise in response to situations, events, or thoughts, and they are often powerful and overwhelming. When emotions are not properly managed, they can lead to impulsive decisions, hurtful actions, and regrettable outcomes. Emotional discipline, however, allows you to step back from the intensity of your emotions and make decisions that are more aligned with your values, goals, and long-term well-being. It gives you the ability to process your feelings in a healthy way and to use that emotional energy constructively rather than letting it control you. The first step in developing emotional discipline is self-awareness. This means paying attention to your emotional triggers and recognizing when certain situations or people provoke a strong emotional response. When you can identify what sets off your emotions, you gain the power to prepare for those moments. You can recognize the signs of rising frustration, anger, or anxiety before they take over, and you can take steps to calm yourself down before reacting. Self-awareness is about understanding your emotional patterns and knowing what causes you to feel certain ways. It requires honesty with yourself and a willingness to examine your emotions without judgment. Once you become more self-aware, the next step is creating space between the stimulus, the event or person that triggered your emotion, and your response. This space, even if it's only a few seconds, is critical. In this moment, you have the power to decide how you will react. Will you give in to the impulse to shout, criticize, or shut down, or will you take a deep breath and choose a more measured response? Emotional discipline involves resisting the knee-jerk reactions that are often driven by fear, anger, or hurt, and instead choosing a response that is calm, thoughtful, and in alignment with your values. The key to creating this space is developing the practice of pausing. The pause is essential because it gives you time to reflect on your emotions and think before you act. When emotions are running high, the impulse is to act immediately, but often the first reaction is not the best one. By pausing, you allow your rational mind to take control and avoid making decisions that are solely driven by emotional impulses. This pause can be as simple as counting to 10, taking a few deep breaths, or mentally stepping back from the situation to gain perspective. It's a moment of reflection that allows you to regain control over your emotions and make decisions from a place of clarity. Emotional discipline also involves understanding that you are not your emotions. Emotions are temporary states that come and go, and they do not define you. While it's natural to feel things like frustration, sadness, or anger, these emotions do not have to control your actions or shape your identity. You can experience a range of emotions without allowing them to dictate your behavior. By recognizing that emotions are transient and not permanent, you can distance yourself from the emotional turmoil and respond from a place of inner calm, rather than becoming overwhelmed by the feeling. One of the challenges of emotional discipline is learning how to express your emotions in a healthy way. Suppressing or bottling up emotions is not the answer, as this can lead to resentment, anxiety, or even physical stress. Instead, emotional discipline means finding constructive outlets for your feelings. This could involve talking to a trusted friend, journaling your thoughts, or engaging in activities that help release pent-up emotions, such as exercise or creative pursuits. The goal is not to avoid your emotions, but to express them in ways that are healthy and productive. Healthy emotional expression allows you to process your feelings without letting them spiral out of control. Another aspect of emotional discipline is the ability to remain calm in the face of others' emotions. When someone else is angry, upset, or frustrated, it can be tempting to react in kind, to mirror their energy, or try to defend yourself. However, emotional discipline enables you to remain composed even when others are not. By maintaining your calm, you prevent the situation from escalating and create an environment where clear, rational communication can take place. Your calmness serves as an anchor for others, allowing them to regain control of their emotions as well. In this way, emotional discipline not only improves your own ability to stay calm, but it also has a positive impact on those around you. Developing emotional discipline takes time and consistent effort. It is a lifelong practice that requires patience, self-compassion, and dedication. No one can be perfectly disciplined with their emotions at all times, but with each moment of self-control, you strengthen your ability to manage your emotions in a healthy, constructive way. Over time, emotional discipline becomes second nature, and you begin to respond to life's challenges with calm, clarity, and confidence. This ability to stay grounded, regardless of the emotional storms around you, is one of the most empowering tools you can possess. In times of difficulty, many people instinctively seek someone to lean on, someone who will offer comfort, guidance, and support. The ability to be the anchor for others in turbulent times is a unique and valuable trait. It's not about being immune to hardship or never facing challenges of your own. It's about cultivating a sense of stability and calm that others can rely on when they need it most. Being an anchor for others means offering them a sense of safety and reassurance in moments of fear, uncertainty, or pain. It is the ability to remain composed and present in the midst of a storm, and in doing so, you become the steady force that helps others regain their balance. To be an anchor, you must first cultivate your own inner strength. It's impossible to provide stability to others if you are not grounded yourself. This means investing time and effort into developing a sense of calm and confidence that comes from within. When you are rooted in your own sense of peace and self-assurance, you are better able to offer that peace to others. People are naturally drawn to calmness because it provides them with a sense of security. If you are constantly swayed by the emotions of those around you or are overwhelmed by external pressures, it becomes difficult to be a source of stability. But when you have worked on building your own emotional resilience, you become a safe harbor for others, a place where they can find solace in the midst of chaos. Being an anchor for others also means showing up for them even when it's inconvenient or challenging. It's not about offering superficial comfort or quick fixes, but rather about being there, truly present for those who are in need. This requires active listening and empathy. Sometimes the most valuable thing you can offer is simply your presence, sitting with someone in their pain, offering a listening ear, and letting them know they are not alone. When you show genuine care and compassion, you help others feel seen and understood, which can be incredibly powerful during moments of distress. In times of crisis, people often experience feelings of isolation and fear. They may feel as though the world is falling apart around them and that they have nowhere to turn. Being an anchor means reminding them that they are not alone. It's about providing a safe space where they can express their feelings without fear of judgment or dismissal. By offering non-judgmental support, you allow others to process their emotions and work through their difficulties without the added burden of shame or guilt. This kind of emotional support is invaluable because it creates an environment where healing can begin. It is through understanding and acceptance that individuals can start to navigate their way through difficult times. Moreover, being an anchor means offering practical support as well. In moments of stress or crisis, people may not always know how to move forward or what steps to take next. Your ability to offer practical advice or guidance can help them regain a sense of direction. However, it's important to recognize that your role is not to solve their problems for them, but to empower them to take the next step on their own. Sometimes being an anchor is about encouraging others to trust in their own strength and abilities, helping them see that they have the capacity to navigate their challenges. Being a steady influence doesn't mean suppressing your own emotions or pretending that you are unaffected by the difficulties of those around you. In fact, it's important to acknowledge your own emotions and struggles. However, when you are able to manage your own emotions and maintain a sense of calm, you create a space for others to do the same. Your example becomes a source of strength for them. When you can stay composed in the face of adversity, you show others that it is possible to endure hardship with grace and resilience. This is not to say that you should be stoic or unemotional. Rather, it is about finding balance. You allow yourself to feel and process your emotions, but you do not let them overwhelm you or dictate your actions. Instead, you rise above them, offering others the same ability to do so. In addition, being an anchor for others requires a deep level of trust and reliability. People need to know that they can count on you, not just in moments of crisis, but also during the everyday challenges of life. Trust is built over time through consistent actions and a demonstrated commitment to being there for others. When you follow through on your promises, when you show up when you say you will, and when you offer unwavering support, you create a foundation of trust that others can rely on. This trust becomes a bedrock that people can lean on when things become difficult. Another aspect of being an anchor is the ability to offer perspective. When people are in the midst of a crisis, they can become overwhelmed by their emotions and may struggle to see beyond their current pain. As an anchor, you can help them gain a broader perspective, reminding them that while their struggles are real and valid, they are not the entirety of their story. You can offer reassurance that even in the darkest times, there is hope and a path forward. Sometimes this shift in perspective is all someone needs to regain a sense of control and hope for the future. Ultimately, being an anchor for others is about being a steady, unwavering presence in their lives. It's about offering them the security of knowing that no matter what happens, they are not alone. When you create this sense of safety and stability, you empower others to face their challenges with greater resilience. Your calmness, empathy, and support become the foundation upon which they can build their own strength and find their way through the storm. Through your steady influence, you not only help others navigate their own difficulties, but also inspire them to become anchors for others in turn. In every person's life, there comes a moment when they must face adversity. Challenges, whether personal, professional, or relational, are an inevitable part of the human experience. How you respond to these challenges, however, is what ultimately determines the course of your life. The ability to remain calm, to not be swept away by the turbulence of difficult circumstances, is a skill that can make all the difference. It is in these moments that your true character is revealed, and it is in the midst of adversity that your strength can shine brightest. This strength is not about the absence of fear or struggle, but rather about the ability to face them head on with a steady heart and a calm mind. When adversity strikes, the natural human instinct is often to react. The instinct is to fight, to resist, or to flee. These reactions, however, can sometimes compound the problem rather than solve it. In times of difficulty, responding with patience, clarity, and rationality becomes more important than immediate action. Training yourself to remain calm in the face of adversity requires practice and a shift in perspective. It is about recognizing that adversity, while challenging, is not necessarily a setback, but can often be an opportunity for growth. One of the key factors in staying calm during adversity is the realization that not everything is within your control. Life is unpredictable, and things will not always go according to plan. You cannot control other people's actions, external circumstances, or the timing of events, but you can control how you respond to them. This understanding allows you to relinquish the need to control every aspect of your life, which in turn reduces the anxiety that comes from trying to maintain that control. When you accept that certain things are outside of your influence, you free yourself from the pressure of attempting to fix everything. This acceptance becomes a source of peace as you realize that while you can't change every situation, you have the power to choose how you react. Additionally, maintaining calm during adversity requires the cultivation of resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from difficulties, to adapt to challenges, and to keep moving forward despite obstacles. Resilient people are not immune to hardship. Rather, they are better equipped to navigate through it. Resilience is developed through experience. By confronting adversity and choosing to persevere, with each challenge, your resilience grows, and your capacity to remain calm in future difficulties strengthens. This process of building resilience is one of the most valuable life skills you can develop because it helps you not only survive tough times, but thrive in them. One of the ways to build resilience is through self-reflection. When faced with adversity, it can be easy to focus on the external circumstances and the problems at hand. However, taking a step back and reflecting on the situation can provide valuable insight. What can you learn from this challenge? How can this experience make you stronger or wiser? These reflective questions shift the focus away from the negative aspects of adversity and help you find meaning in the struggle. When you can view challenges as opportunities for personal growth, they no longer feel like obstacles to overcome, but rather experiences that contribute to your development. This mindset shift is crucial for maintaining calm in difficult times because it reframes adversity as something that can be learned from rather than something to be feared or resisted. Another important aspect of staying calm in adversity is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to be present in the moment without judgment or attachment to outcomes. When faced with difficulty, the mind often races, consumed by worries about the future or regrets about the past. These thoughts only serve to amplify stress and anxiety. Mindfulness, however, allows you to center yourself in the present moment, to focus on the here and now, and to respond to the situation with clarity. By practicing mindfulness, you can detach from the emotional charge of the moment and approach challenges with a calm and focused mind. This practice can be as simple as deep breathing, paying attention to your surroundings, or focusing on your thoughts and feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them. Staying calm also involves maintaining a sense of perspective. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to feel as though a particular challenge is insurmountable, that the current difficulty is the most significant obstacle you will ever face. However, when you step back and gain perspective, you often realize that the situation is not as dire as it first appeared. Adversity, while painful, is rarely permanent. It may take time to navigate, but with each passing day, you move closer to overcoming it. By keeping a broader perspective, you can keep your emotions in check and avoid getting caught up in the intensity of the moment. It's about remembering that life is a series of ups and downs, and while adversity may be difficult, it is just one chapter in the larger story of your life. Moreover, support systems play a critical role in staying calm during adversity. No one is expected to go through difficult times alone. While it's important to cultivate inner strength and resilience, reaching out for support is a vital part of maintaining calm. This support may come in the form of friends, family, mentors, or colleagues, people who can offer advice, encouragement, or simply a listening ear. Knowing that you have a network of people who care about you and are willing to help can bring a sense of comfort and reassurance in difficult times. Sometimes just knowing that someone is there for you can make all the difference in how you navigate adversity. Finally, staying calm in the face of adversity is not about denying the pain or difficulty of the situation. It is not about pretending that everything is fine when it is not. It is about acknowledging the hardship while choosing to respond with grace and patience. Life is full of challenges, but each challenge also brings an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. When you learn to remain calm, you not only navigate adversity with greater ease, but also come out of it with a deeper sense of inner peace and strength. When you can see beyond the surface of any situation, you unlock a greater capacity for understanding and growth. Many people find themselves caught up in the immediate reactions to events, whether it's frustration with a person, disappointment in a situation, or stress due to unexpected changes. However, taking a step back and learning to see beyond the surface helps you understand the deeper lessons in each experience. This ability to look beyond the surface allows you to rise above the noise and maintain clarity, perspective, and peace, even in the face of adversity. Seeing beyond the surface isn't simply a passive act. It requires active awareness, patience, and the willingness to embrace a broader view of reality. One of the first steps in seeing beyond the surface is recognizing that appearances can be deceiving. The external circumstances that you face often don't tell the full story. Whether it's a challenge in your personal life or a professional setback, there's always more beneath the surface. What may seem like an insurmountable obstacle could be an opportunity for growth. A conflict with a friend or colleague may be a sign of deeper misunderstandings that, when addressed, can lead to stronger relationships. Even the most frustrating situations often contain lessons that, if we are willing to explore, will help us evolve. By developing the habit of looking beyond the obvious, you begin to see the hidden layers of any situation, which allows you to respond with greater wisdom and understanding. Looking beyond the surface requires a shift in mindset. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeing things only from your own perspective, interpreting events based on your emotions and preconceptions. However, this narrow view limits your understanding and can lead to knee-jerk reactions that are not in line with your higher values. To truly see beyond the surface, you must broaden your perspective. This means being open to the possibility that there are factors at play that you may not yet understand. It means being willing to entertain the idea that there is more to a person or a situation than what you initially perceive. By expanding your view, you allow yourself to see the bigger picture, which enables you to act with greater clarity and purpose. Another important aspect of seeing beyond the surface is learning to observe without judgment. It's easy to jump to conclusions based on what we see on the outside. When faced with a difficult situation or a challenging person, our first instinct may be to judge quickly, labeling someone as difficult, lazy, or uncooperative, or assuming that a situation is hopeless. But when you observe without judgment, you give yourself the space to learn and understand. Instead of reacting based on your assumptions, you give yourself the chance to gather more information, reflect on the situation from multiple angles, and respond thoughtfully. This ability to suspend judgment allows you to approach every moment with curiosity and openness. which ultimately leads to greater peace and less stress. Furthermore, seeing beyond the surface often involves examining your own biases and beliefs. We all carry unconscious biases shaped by our upbringing, culture, and experiences. These biases color how we see the world and influence our reactions to people and situations. Often our judgments are influenced more by our past experiences than by the reality of the present moment. By becoming aware of these biases and questioning them, you can begin to separate your perceptions from the actual facts. This awareness helps you see situations with greater objectivity and opens you up to new insight. When you stop allowing your preconceived notions to dictate your view of the world, you begin to experience life with a sense of wonder and possibility. Another powerful tool in seeing beyond the surface is developing empathy. Empathy allows you to understand and feel what others are going through, which broadens your ability to see things from their perspective. It requires you to put yourself in someone else's shoes and consider the factors that may be influencing their behavior or reactions. When you practice empathy, you realize that everyone has their own struggles, fears, and challenges that may not be immediately visible. What appears as frustration or anger on the surface may be masking feelings of fear or insecurity. By recognizing the deeper emotional currents that run beneath the surface, you can respond to others with greater compassion and understanding. Empathy opens the door to seeing the humanity in others, even when their actions or words don't immediately make sense. Patience is another key aspect of seeing beyond the surface. Life's challenges don't always resolve quickly, and the answers you seek often don't appear overnight. Sometimes you must give yourself time to process and reflect before you can see the deeper meaning in a situation. In moments of difficulty, it's easy to become impatient, wanting a quick resolution or an immediate fix. However, patience allows you to stay the course and keep seeking understanding, even when the path forward isn't immediately clear. By practicing patience, you give yourself permission to wait for clarity and insight, trusting that with time, the full picture will reveal itself. Finally, seeing beyond the surface requires a commitment to growth. Life is constantly evolving, and each experience offers an opportunity to learn and expand. When you embrace this mindset, every challenge, every person, and every situation becomes an opportunity to grow. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, you begin to view them as stepping stones that lead to greater understanding, strength, and wisdom. This approach fosters a sense of curiosity about life and a willingness to dive deeper into the lessons it offers. When you are committed to personal growth, you begin to see the beauty and purpose in all things, even in the most difficult circumstances. Seeing beyond the surface is a lifelong practice that requires patience, self-awareness, and openness. It's about choosing to look deeper, to explore the hidden layers of every situation and relationship. By cultivating this ability, you create space for greater understanding, empathy, and peace. You begin to navigate life with a sense of clarity and purpose, knowing that everything you encounter, no matter how challenging, is an opportunity to grow and evolve. When you can see beyond the surface, you unlock the potential for transformation and deepen your connection to the world around you. In closing, it's important to remember that the ability to see beyond the surface is not something that happens overnight. It is a continuous practice, a journey of learning and evolving. Life will always present challenges, and not every situation will be easy to understand at first glance. However, when you choose to look beyond what is immediately visible, you open yourself to deeper wisdom and greater peace. You begin to see the potential for growth in every challenge, the lessons in every interaction, and the beauty in every moment, even when it's not obvious. As you cultivate this ability, remember that you are not only transforming your perspective, but also enriching your life in ways that go beyond what is seen. The surface may be the first thing we notice, but it's the depth, the unseen layers that hold the true value. By embracing this deeper understanding, you are creating a life that is grounded in clarity, empathy, and resilience. Keep practicing patience, keep questioning assumptions, and most importantly, keep seeking the deeper truth in everything around you. For when you look beyond the surface, you not only change how you see the world, but you also change the way the world sees you.